What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome to another edition of MVP Sports Live. I'm joined, as I always am, with my fellow co-host, the beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how you doing today? Good day today? Interesting day today?
I mean, good would be a stretch. It's been a day, Ricky. I am excited to be here doing this right now, as opposed to doing that other thing that I normally do.
Yeah, the usual shit that you got to do.
So I will take it. I'm excited to talk some sports, some football, a little bit of basketball, maybe some pop-off performances. So there's a lot going on in sports.
I've got a story for you that I did not tell you pre-show that I just remembered right now. And Soapy, if he's watching, is going to hate me for it. But what happened right before we started games live is I was doing the graphics for the show. I was doing the Wet Boy graphics, and Soapy jumped in, and we're talking on Discord. And I could tell Soapy had just woken up. So I'm like, give him a little bit to wake up. And then I heard a sound that sounded like he laughed at something. And I was like, oh, what are you cackling at over there? Kind of like to start a conversation. And then I got no reply, and I was like, okay, like that's weird. Maybe he just didn't hear me. And then I'm getting ready to start the show, and I just hear him start snoring to where he had fallen asleep before the show and then woke up. He woke up. It was 4:05. I looked, and I was like, all right, he's asleep. And I'm thinking, if he doesn't wake up, I'm just going to mute him, and I'm just going to fucking like play World of Warcraft or something for the hour, like on stream. And then he woke up 5 minutes later. And then we started the show. So
he fell asleep on show. Oh my god!
Well, not on camera. We still had the weight screen up, but like right before we were going to start. Hey Dave, I have not taken a nap today.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Grown Up.
I've been up since 8 o'clock today.
You know, my nephew doesn't take naps either now. He's a big boy. He's now.
Hey man, you get to 30 and it's like, dude, naps are like required almost.
No, they're not.
Sometimes you need like I see a lot of people our age on Twitter and Facebook, Dave, talking about the powers of naps and taking power naps throughout the day.
Just get sleeping at night when you're supposed to sleep.
No, man, you got those power naps. It kind of restarts the brain a little bit, gets you kicking into full gear. Also, congratulations to JD. The impossible finally happened, Dave.
What's that?
He won a fantasy football game.
He won?
He won. He beat Tim because he says, can we just appreciate the fact that I finally got a win? In fantasy. Something I thought would never happen, JD. So congratulations. But welcome in to MVP Sports Live. Dave and I are talking about the best and sometimes the worst in sporting news. Before we start our Football Monday with a dash of NBA in the middle of it. A little bit of housekeeping. Discord, join it if you haven't. If you're not in it, you're behind the 8 ball. Link down below in the description or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat to join that. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is the place to go. You can also support us by throwing us a sub on Twitch as well, where we are live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports as well. So go follow us, like, subscribe at all those places. But Dave, we're changing things up. We're calling an audible Omaha. We're at the line Peyton Manning style. Because usually we do the NFL recaps later in the show, Dave. We usually end the show with it. As even my topic things are a little bit off, and I got to find the right one because we're moving the recaps to the start. We're flipping the recaps the final the final fantasy football, the fantasy football. Because, Dave, there was breaking news during MVP Games Live. We're actually going to start with Vikings-Texans. Vikings getting the win. Bill O'Brien fired as Texans coach.
Wait, what?
Bill O'Brien is fired, Dave. He's gone.
He is
gone after an 0-4 start.
I thought he was giving the new offensive coordinator.
I'm glad you haven't heard this news because it's great. Yeah, he is fired. He's out as coach and GM. He gone. Crennel, the old coach of the Browns, is the interim head coach till the end of the year. Dave, your reaction, because this is I can tell this is a new reaction that Dave hasn't heard this before.
I didn't hear this. See, there's a problem when I'm working too hard is I don't know things that happen in sports today. So I'm glad you're bringing it to me because I didn't know that Bill O'Brien got fired. Shit. Like, did he deserve it? Yes. No one's going to question that. Like, not only as a GM did he trade away Nuke for a washed-up old-ass David Johnson, but also as a head coach, he has woefully underperformed. The offensive play calling has been terrible. Deshaun Watson needs help out there, and the play calling has been like, how can we play conservatively while having one of the top young quarterbacks in the NFL who is mobile, creative, he has a great arm. Now, you know what we're going to do? We're bunch of dump off passes. We just don't let him run. Don't let him throwing downfield now. Fuck that. Like, Bill O'Brien deserved to get fired. This is a team that is underperforming right now, and I think that this is the step in the right direction. Now, you said the former Browns coach was the interim.
Yeah, Romeo Crennel is going to be the.
I do not like Romeo Crennel. So as a person, he's a good guy.
He was the DC. He's going to be the interim head coach for the rest of the year.
They did see what the numbers other teams are putting up on them, right? Like, he maybe shouldn't have a job either, right? It just feels like, I get it. He's a tenured guy. He's a respected head coach. He seems like a great guy. Every interview I've seen of Romeo Crennel, like, he's very likable. But as far as results driven, no. This team needs to go pay Lincoln Riley about $1 billion to become the new head coach.
The name everyone's throwing out there, Dave, is the guy who, I'm going to go on a ledge here, and is he's the scapegoat to the Rooney Rule, Eric Bieniemy. I think that's how you say it. Bieniemy. From the Chiefs OC. Everyone is like, he should be in line for this job to get it as soon as the season ends. And like, there's a part of me that's like, I can't see why, because this is a guy that's been, for the past 2 years, interviewed with places, and it seems like no one wants to hire him. And it's like, why do you not see what he's doing with Patrick Mahomes?
Because of what Nagy's doing with the Chicago Bears.
You think that's a little bit why?
I think that hurts the hell out of his case.
Okay.
I think a lot of people were looking at the Chicago Bears and being like, well, they got Matt Nagy, and look at the results that he's done. Well, Matt Nagy is a guy who originated or worked with and masterminded that offense initially with Andy Reid. And they figured out how to, use Kareem Hunt. And like that was rookie year Kareem Hunt when he popped off, I think was Matt Nagy's final year in KC. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Matt.
This is Matt Nagy's third year, I think.
Maybe it's not. Maybe
third year, because he had this is his third year. He had the really good year that came out of nowhere, the Khalil Mack year. Then last year, that was like the basically the comeback to Jesus moment of like, oh, maybe this team isn't as good as we thought we were last year. And then there's this year, I believe. I would have to check myself.
Okay.
Yeah, he was hired in 2018. So yeah, this is his third year as Bears head coach.
Okay, then Kareem Hunt's rookie year was the year that he popped off, and that was his final year in KC, and that's sort of where I'm like, look, he had an incredible onslaught of weaponry out there. He had so much talent on that offense. He was able to get creative, don't get me wrong, but now we've seen reality hit, and when you're not working with the MVP of the Super Bowl and one of the most talented quarterbacks we've ever seen, physically, maybe the second best quarterback we've ever seen in the NFL.
I mean, some people would say, now I'm not saying Deshaun Watson's better than Patrick Mahomes or that
he's not.
He deserves to, but wouldn't you say there's some point to where it's like Deshaun Watson should be in the same stratosphere as Patrick Mahomes, like as top tier, but look, he just doesn't have the coaches to unleash his full potential.
I don't disagree. He's being held back by his coaching. Deshaun Watson absolutely is. But I mean, it's Pat Mahomes, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Russell Wilson, it's Tyrod Taylor, it's Lamar Jackson, it's Deshaun Watson.
Did you mention Tyrod before Tom Brady?
I was fucking with you, Tyrod Taylor. I was just fucking with you. Okay, I'm just having a little fun here.
I was like, really, Dave? Really? But I know you're.
I was just trying to slip into the fun. But yeah, no, like I do believe Watson is probably like between 6 and 8 in the league as far as like QB talent.
Yeah.
He absolutely is astonishing, and the things he can do out there are amazing. But like, if you've seen this year, that's not who he is on the field. And I truly believe that it's the OC's or the OC and the play caller, because they are now separate positions officially down there in Texas. It's an issue. And when you can't use your best weapon, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. They've limited their offense. They've limited what they can do out there. Their defense looks like garbage at times. That's why I'm surprised Cornell has a job still. But I guess you have to have someone there to keep the house stable until you can end the year and truly go job hunting.
Yeah.
This is a team that needs a true GM. They need a decision maker who is not an idiot. And Bill O'Brien probably shouldn't get another chance as a head of anything.
He should go back to college.
He could be a coordinator.
I think he should. I honestly think he should go back because, like,
fit better in college. You think?
I mean, when he was at Penn, like, the reason why I think he should go back to college is he basically had the toughest job of bringing Penn State football out of the Sandusky Joe Paterno scandal. Was able to do that. Was able to make it set the program up to where, like, okay, Franklin, you can go and have a successful football team. That's where it's like I kind of feel like he's more in that mindset of like you're good at college, because doing the whole, like, when you're a head coach in college, you are the GM of that football team too. You got to handle recruiting. You got to handle everything with that team. And in the NFL, there's a reason why Bill Belichick is the only one that is able to do the GMing and the head football coach, because it's not easy. It's not like anyone can walk in and say, you know what, I'm going to be a GM and a head coach for the NFL, because not everyone has the same thought process. Not everyone has the same decision making. And some people just aren't cut out for it. And I think if they would have had a GM, maybe it would have been better. They wouldn't have traded away DeAndre Hopkins, which would have helped them.
Big loss.
But I just, like, for me, this is a team that even, like, you look at the future of, like, the reason why I think they made the move was, number one, 0-4. You can still kind of turn around the season with that extra playoff spot. Like, even if you go 9, like, at this point, you would have to go 9-3 the rest of the way, which is doable. Like, teams have done it before. But it's just that extra playoff spot. We got to make something happen, because even if you're on the side of, like, and I'm not saying you should be, because you have Deshaun Watson. If people are like, oh, tank for Tua, well, guess what? Or tank for Trevor. Guess what? You'd be giving them to Miami, because that's who has your draft pick this year. You don't even have your draft. You don't have your first rounder this year. You don't have your second rounder this year. Your next first round pick isn't until 2022. So something needs to change. You got to run to make the playoffs this year, because you ain't going to get someone in that first or second round of this year's draft to help you out. Like, that's why this move had to get made. Unless they trade, like, David Johnson for somebody. Was he even worth a first or second?
He might. No, he's not.
Is Will Fuller?
Will Fuller's probably worth a second.
You're not trading J.J. Watt.
What's up?
That's like the only two people I would think of that were like that would be worth firsts are
the defense.
Yeah, like J.J. Watt. You're not going to trade him.
No, but they got other guys who are talented on that defense.
Right.
They've got pass rush. They've got a couple guys in the linebacker position that their corner's not great, but it is what it is. It is what it is, baby. Look, this is a team that needs to rip it down. They gutted themselves. Excuse me. They gutted themselves. And it just poor decision on poor decision. The drafting is just awful to think about how far out they are from having a top pick, but they need to make moves. They need to get aggressive, because I think this is like, hey, you're still on Deshaun Watson as a young kid. Like, you are allowed to take this time to rebuild around him. You don't need to compete right now. He walked in, I heard this analogy today, was like, not analogy, but comparison.
Yeah.
He walked in very similar to Ben Roethlisberger. He went into a team that had a defense that was attacking, vicious. They were able to get after the quarterback, and he just had to extend plays. He had to make smart decisions, move the ball down the field, and he was a playoff team like out from the get go. I know he had a horrible injury early on in his career, but still, he was someone who was able to have that playoff success so early in his career. Not to the same level as Ben, who obviously rang, but like I think he's someone who absolutely has a talent that can elevate the team. It's just, he's got no team around him right now, and the play calling's so bad that what do you want the man to do? Like he could throw dimes. Like you saw that. You saw some of those catches by Fuller out there that were like, yep, that's that was nice. I did not expect him to
I'll be
down.
completely honest. Watching that Vikings-Texans game, I was there was a tweet I saw from one of the Vikings fans I follow, and I thought the same thing of just oh, great, they're coming back. We're going to blow it. Just prepare for the blowness because we are going to blow this game when Houston was coming back. And the fact that we were able to hold on and win that game, I was like, maybe the season ain't completely over at 1-3.
We're not as bad as we thought. Yeah.
We're not as bad as we thought.
This game.
Yeah, I mean, Houston, you made the right decision. The Vikings on the other side, you won a game. Keep it going. Like, this is one where it's like, did you only win this game because you played the lowly Texans? Because, like, we thought this Texan team would be, I thought they'd at least be an 8-8 team. And now that you're 0-4, it doesn't look like that you're going to be.
I had them lower than that, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought you had them at 10-6. You were you were high on the Texans.
Oof.
You had them in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah, I'll look it up, but yeah, you were.
Why would I do that?
Because I was lower on the Texans, and you were like, or was it vice versa? You had them at 8-8, and I had them at 10-6. I'd have to look it up.
I don't know. Either way, I don't like them now. They suck. Clearly, they suck. Bad coaching will do that.
But Dave, the next game we go into, we always look at them first when they're they weren't a 12 o'clock game because of the coronavirus stuff, but fuck it, we're still looking at them next. What are your thoughts? Bears lose to the Colts 19-11. Big Dick Nick almost did it. Thought he was going to come back at the end, and then it didn't come up roses for Chicago.
It was bad. It was bad from the get-go. Our defense was they did a job out there. Like I appreciate everything that defense did because that game easily could have gotten away from us. They had big holds at the right times, but at the same time, they also gave up a number of first downs, penalties to this Colts offense. Colts ran the ball really well on us, continuing the trend of every single week where I complain about the fact that we didn't replace Eddie Goldman. And we refused to have a center to that fucking defensive line, someone to hold that shit together. We got edge pass rushers. Great. Quinn, I'm happy to have Quinn. But nobody fucking stops the run in the middle. And that's starting to get on my nerves because it's week after week after week after week. People are just gouging up on the ground. So, same. It's more of the same. It's really disappointing. I kind of wish that there was something we could do about it midseason, but there's not. We're not spending money. This is who we are as a defense. Offensively, yes, Nick Foles looked bad, but at the same time, like, kind of just want to be like, well, he didn't have a preseason. He, just got 1 week of reps with the first team. Let's give him some time. He did not look good out there, but at the same time, our receivers did him no favors. And there were definitely some wide receiver issues in that game. It's not all on them. I think Foles underperformed. I think they underperformed. I think our run game needs to figure out that, maybe on, a late down and short, maybe don't run with Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the guy who needs to have the ball in his hands. Maybe you just give him the ball to our boy in Dave Montgomery. Or a short pass. Pass works.
I think on the other side of this, too, like the one point you did make that the announcers in the game said a lot is, like you said, Nick Foles didn't have a preseason. Usually you have preseason, you have OTAs, to where you're really getting into things and you're basically practicing with the offense where you didn't have that. And especially like with being the backup quarterback, you're not getting first team reps. You're scout team. That's basically what you are. So this is basically, he's got to, hey, I've studied the playbook. I just got to be able to step in and kind of learn. I don't want to say learn on the fly, but get used to things on the fly.
But there are definitely some intricacies to this current Bears offense that are different than what he remembers, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's going to take him a couple weeks.
And he's got to find the rapport with his guys. Find out who's going to be his guy. Like, of course, Allen Robinson is
seemed like
one.
it might be, but yeah.
Did you say Greg Olsen?
I did say Greg Olsen. I did
Jimmy Graham. I knew what you meant. Oh man, the glory days, fucking Greg Olsen out there. I think the other side of this too is like everyone wants to talk about the Colts offense because of Frank Wright. And the other thing the announcers kept saying is, oh, Nick Foles going up against his former OC and Frank Wright. And it's just like, that Colts defense is good too.
Like, one defense in the league, I think.
Yeah, they're going to be a team that like all the offense is going to have to do, all Phillip Rivers is going to have to do is just score enough because this defense will do its job. Like, how many games would you think 19 points would be enough to win? Especially in this NFL. Like,
not many. I know. I did not bet the under on this game.
Yeah. I know that the Chiefs might be like, if it's a Chiefs-Colts AFC Championship game, you probably will have to score more than 19.
You're probably going to have to score about 37.
I would be shocked if the Colts defense held them to 11 points like they held the Bears.
Yeah, no, that was on Bears ineptitude. That was not. I mean, Colts defense was good.
Yeah,
but we shot ourselves. You know, I think that's at the end of the day. Like, I'm happy with what the Colts did out there, but I know that at the end of the day, that was a Bears loss more than a Colts win in my mind.
Yeah,
credit to them. They shut us down, but Foles just did not make a lot of great throws. Didn't make a lot of great decisions. Our game planning. I don't know. I shouldn't say our game planning. Our play calling on offense made me hate the screen. Like, I literally was doing this to my screen at times and just like,
don't punch it like the COD days, Dave. Don't punch it now.
Not punching. I've learned my lesson. Not punching. Just shake.
Yeah.
Shaking the screen. Like, what are you doing? Why? Why are you making that? Yeah. So a lot of questionable decisions, a lot of answers. Mitch Trubisky probably smiling a whole lot on that sideline on the inside. Just like, still undefeated over here. Still 3-0, bitches.
I'll ask you before we move on to the next game, is the announcers mentioned this during the game. Is this a gut check of like, well, we can't go back on the decision now?
You cannot go back until Foles hits an injury.
Okay.
If you lose 3-3 with Nick Foles, you still stick with Nick Foles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We are done.
The Mitch Trubisky era is basically over. I agree with that.
Correct. We are getting a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
Mitch is done in Chicago. Whether we end up with, someone from this draft class or
Aaron Rodgers.
What's up?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the Bears. The Bears get.
We'll see what that man does.
Would the Packers take 3 first-round picks from the Bears for him, even though he'd be going to Chicago?
Probably not.
I think it would. Honestly, whenever people throw that out there, I'm like, it would look weird seeing like Aaron Rodgers in a Bears uniform.
The Bears
Days like that fucking orange, he'd look good.
It's not really our tradition to steal Packers quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's ours. I mean, hey, Brett Favre looked good in a Vikings jersey. I don't care what anyone says about that. Like seeing him in a Jets jersey, that's what makes me throw up. That was bad.
That was the wrong grade.
But Dave, the next game, Bengals finally got a win. Joe Burrow got on the board.
Shocker to me. You called this one correct.
But it was because of Joe Mixon's day that they win. And like,
was it ever?
This is another matchup where it's like the Jaguars, they're a team where it's like, yes, going forward, I kind of know what to expect from them, where it's like there will be games they win, there will be games they lose. I'm not expecting a lot out of them. To me, the story of this side is the Bengals, because the next games coming up for them are tough. Baltimore, Indy, Cleveland, Tennessee, depending on if they get players back. Pittsburgh, too. And this is a team where, and we're going to talk about Joe Mixon a little bit in fantasy for the fantasy side of it, but for a Bengals team side, I almost feel like this was a flash in the pan week, where don't expect this Bengals team to all of a sudden just start winning games like crazy. They went up against an opponent that was a winnable opponent for them, and don't expect them to have this kind of performance from Joe Mixon against the Ravens or against the Colts.
Well said, actually. I agree 110%. I hate to be the We Agree podcast right now, but like you nailed it. This was a great game to show up in because the Jags are a team that you can capitalize on.
Yeah.
They definitely don't have their shit together. They're definitely in a different place in time. So on your level, Bengals. And yeah, Joe Burrow looked good. Joe Mixon won me our local league, which I appreciate the hell out of. I think he put up like 36 points or so. Something real dumb. So credit to Joe Mixon.
Dude, for a while I was like, is he going to lose to Mark?
Well,
or is that in the MVP league? I think that's in the MVP league. Yeah. Okay. That was in the MVP league. Yeah, because that was that one. Because I was like, "Holy shit, is he going to lose to the winless wonder?"
Game, but Aaron Jones is apparently the only wide receiver available for the fucking Packers tonight because
I picked up MVS. Is he not playing?
Did you see the tweet though?
No, is he not playing? Should I change that now?
MVS is playing, but their number one receiver, whose name escapes me,
is it the tight end Tate?
No, the number one wide receiver on the Packers.
Oh, Devontae Adams isn't going to play until he's 100%. I saw that.
Yeah, he tweeted earlier. He's like, apparently, I'm ready to go, but apparently I don't know my own body as well as a doctor do or some shit like that. So I won't be playing tonight. And it was like, oh, you shouldn't have tweeted that. That got deleted real quick.
So he ain't going tonight.
He wanted to go. He said he was ready to go. Doctor said no.
Yeah.
So he ain't going. And obviously, that means Aaron Jones is about to pick up about 1 billion fucking all-purpose yards tonight.
Hey, man, good for me. In one of my leagues, I picked up MVS because I'm like, I like him. And
Lazor's out still.
I'm like, I like him better than fucking. I had N'Keal Harry because of the move to Monday night for them. But yeah, this Bengals game was just like, it was a good win for the Bengals. Got Joe Burrows on the board. Jaguars will win a couple more games. Really for them, it's just, I think the one thing I would have liked them to do more was get Robinson going a little bit. Only 75 yards on 12 carries, but at the same time, when you get behind, you got to ditch that run game. That's why
it felt like 17. He got stuffed a lot. It was like he got chunk yardage on a couple plays that helped his average out. It felt like he wasn't gaining much ground on the every down, you know?
Yeah. The next game, Dave, though, is to me, the most interesting game from Sunday. Fucking the Browns and the Cowboys. Because for a while, it was like Browns. Then the Cowboys come back, and it's like, oh, man, could they be coming back? And OBJ says, go fuck yourself. 50 yards touchdown. Bye. See you later.
That end around.
Like, to me, this is another one where it's like the Cowboys. I was smiling ear to ear after this game, Dave, because I was like, oh, the Cowboys are going to be 6-10. Oh, Ricky's crazy for thinking the Cowboys are going to be 6-10. That I am loving all the struggles in Dallas. And our Discord had a conversation about Dak Prescott that you and I will have in a longer segment of what happens if Dak actually leaves Dallas, because
he's having his best statistical year, isn't he?
He is, but the team is losing, which to me could mean I'm gonna get the fuck out of here and go play with a winner where I can win a Super Bowl. The real question I want to ask here, Dave, what'd you say?
If only the Cowboys had some help in that secondary, you know? Only there was someone available.
Yeah, I know. Dude, name escapes me, but Earl Thomas. Oh man, I had to sneeze there a little bit, but. The Browns 3-1, could they be making a case that, hey, we've awoken and we're for real in the NFC North? Or is this just you played the Cowboys, sit back down?
It comes down to how much do you trust Baker Mayfield being real? I don't.
Good point.
Look, they're out with Bradley Chubb for at least 3 weeks.
Wins.
Chubb's out 3 weeks at least.
Okay. Good point.
So that's a guarantee. Luckily, they do have Hunt, who I have on my team. Happy to have him, great guy.
Happy to have him
on the field. They've got all the offensive weapons, but it really just comes down to can Mayfield be the guy to win games? Because their defense, I don't know what fucking happened. They were so good early in that game, and then the gates broke up, and they was just like, where do you want to go, Dak? You want to pass over here? Yeah, do it. You want a short pass over here against sideline? Yep, all yours. Wherever you want to go, Dak. The field is your choice. Go wherever you want.
Was it almost because this is what it felt like to me of oh, we've got this in the bag. Foot comes off the gas pedal a little bit defensively, where it's
they did go. Not full prevent, but
I just mean player wise, where it's you don't have that same intensity because you're you know what, we have a lead. I can kind of take this one a little bit easier.
I could absolutely do that. So yeah, but same time, it felt bad. It felt like the oh no panic was coming from the first score. It's okay, Cowboys scored once, cool. They're still down 4 scores. It doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
Cowboys scored again.
And that's
the Cowboys getting run. Cowboys scored again. Oh shit! It's happening.
And
it's happening. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do what they did to the Falcons. Oh no, it's happening.
Thank God OBJ had a 50-yard run or 50 catch run. I just know it was for
the end around touchdown. He had the touchdown catch from Jarvis Landry.
That's right. It was an end around. Was the one I was thinking is right after that touchdown that brought them in. And then it was the end around.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Fucking cojones to call an end around run with OBJ. Like he was excellent.
He made that one juke move, and I was like, holy shit! He made a juke move and made a miss.
Yep, and then got the outside, baby.
But like for me, the next game is I am not taking the Browns for real right now until I see next week. Because okay, you beat the Bengals barely. All right, you beat Washington. Everyone should be able to beat Washington. All right, you beat Dallas, but you even let them come back. Play that Colts defense. See what you do against Phillip Rivers. Like that's it. This is the week coming up. This is the stepping stone. This is the measuring stick. That's what I was looking for the Browns. Dave, the next one, Saints get a win 35-29 over the Lions. And I almost have a feeling, Dave, that with Michael Thomas being out, I feel like we're reliving, in a sense, what we saw last year with Drew Brees. Where Drew Brees went down, it's not the exact same because they went undefeated with Teddy Two Gloves, but it was... He goes down with an injury. Oh my God, what are they going to do? And yeah, they're 2-2, but they're kind of just staying alive in a race. Like, yes, Tampa Bay's got the division right now. I think they're 3-1, but I think this is a team that, yes, Drew Brees has had his struggles. He hasn't looked like Drew Brees, but when Michael Thomas comes back, this team might take a bigger step up because they're getting their number one back.
Sorry.
You're good.
I agree. I think that they had me scared off the get-go that the Lions put a quick 14 points on them.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's a beast. Can we just...
Yeah. Did we not talk him up enough for you last week?
Was he the one that had the slow spin move that you were talking about, Dave?
He had the slow spin move last Sunday.
Yeah.
This week, he just goes and he ground and pounds it right through a fucking lineman. I think he dragged he pushed through a linebacker into the end zone with him. It was kind of embarrassing. The guy's like fucking 45 out there, and he's just trucking kids into the end zone. So shout out to AD all day, baby. I don't know what's wrong with this Lions team. Like, Matt Stafford's a good football player, but what the shit's going on up there? Because this is a good Saints team, but they're beatable. Anyone can beat them right now without Michael Thomas.
I thought the Lions were going to do it. I honestly did, because it was Do
you know what's wrong with them? Like
I don't.
Their defense gives up big mistakes, and it just or is it like the death by 1,000 cuts? Like which? I see both now.
I think right now the biggest thing that I would say hurts them is, although AP, like we say, he's a beast. You look at his overall work in the game. 11 carries for 36 yards. To where, I think they are missing that same sort of burst in the running back position that they had gotten from Kerryon Johnson.
There's no breakout
in the past. Speed. Yeah.
Once you get to that second level, he cannot break away from anybody.
Because he had 3 carries. Swift had 4 carries, but it's not the same type of impact that we've seen in the past, where it's I mentioned, where I thought they were going to come back and win it, where they cut it to 35-29. I thought Hawkinson was going to catch that ball for the 2-point conversion to put them to 35-31. And I was like, oh shit, they might be coming back in this one. And then they couldn't. They just didn't have enough to come back, to where it's I have a feeling with the Lions, to where it's all right, the Lions are going to get to a point where either we get to the Matt Patricia firing, or when do you pull the cord on Matthew Stafford's career in Detroit? Because I think we're getting not this season, not next season, but if the Lions keep going on this way, we're eventually going to get to the point where Matthew Stafford might have to move on. Did you spill something?
No, my monitor shifted.
Okay.
I bought my monitor. Hang on.
No. I just you gave that face, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Did Dave?
It's just wobbly. I put my feet up Yeah. And I pushed the table a little bit, and it just shifted the whole thing. I just the whole monitor arm swung.
Dave,
sorry.
The next game, we know about the Seahawks. We know how good they are.
Have I talked about the Seahawks enough?
Can we talk about Ryan Fitzpatrick and how he almost willed this game into, like, when he had that rushing touchdown, it was, I'm like sitting there, I'm going, holy shit, Fitzpatrick. I'm like, we talked about it, but holy shit, Fitzpatrick's going to do it. He is going to will this team to a victory. They just couldn't get it done in the end.
Agreed. I mean, they're not as bad as we want them to be. I had incredibly high hopes for this team with Tua Tagovailoa out there. He has not played yet this season, so we've not seen that. Do you think he will?
Does Fitzpatrick get pulled at one point?
100%.
Okay. I mean, they are 1-3.
Cleared. He's healthy. Yeah. He's making throws. Ryan Fitzpatrick even said there are throws that he can make that I can't.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck more do you need to hear from this man? When the journeyman fucking bearded wonder kid, adult, he's a man. He's a grown-ass man. He's like 40. I'm 40.
Oh, man, I'm 40.
It's just when he even can praise Tua, it's like, why the fuck aren't we doing this? We see what's happening with other young kids playing in the league, and Tua was touted as the kid. Like, he was next Andrew Luck before Trevor Lawrence over.
Yeah.
It was Tua. Obviously, Tua's injury set him back, but like, all the kid's done is win. All the kid's done is win. Well, there's no reason to believe that he can't come in and play right now. I mean, Fitzmagic's great, and he will make any game competitive, even though he has no fucking right to. He's just like, don't care, gonna do it.
And here's the thing that I look at, where, to me, the next game, I say keep with Ryan Fitzpatrick. 49ers, we don't need to put Tua in that. You want to set them up for success for that first start.
They're hurt. They're very hurt.
They're hurt. They're hurt, but like, I know it's in Denver, which adds its own kind of like playing in the opposite. No, the next week. No, the next week. The next week they're playing in Denver. I know that everyone talks about the like lack of oxygen when playing at Mile High. The altitude adds in a certain pressure to it, but there's almost a part of me that goes, if you are afraid of him playing the Niners, like I'm just saying if. That's okay. Let Fitzpatrick play it. I say Denver's the perfect one to have him start. He gets Denver, then the Justin Herbert Chargers, rookie on rookie matchup, the storyline there.
Air Bears, real good.
Yeah. The Rams after that would be tough. Arizona would be tough. But then after those two, double jet games with a bye in between it. No, just double jet games with a bye in between them. Like, yeah, I'll see Tua beat the Jets twice in 3 weeks.
Tua versus Sam Darnold, hell yeah.
Then you got Joe Burrows the week after before you end your schedule with the toughest part: Chiefs, Pats, Raiders, and Bills. So it's like before that though, there's so many winnable games that Tua could look good in against Denver team that's not doing well. The rookie quarterback
he should be considered.
Yeah, you're right. They are injured.
It looked bad. Jimmy G might be coming back earlier than he was initially planned because how bad Nick Mullins looked out there. They had to bring in Beathard, who, to his credit, completed some passes. But no, I mean, like that's the thing. Like, I think the Dolphins are literally just like, you make that switch and it's a different team out there. They're decent. They need to work on a lot of things, but great tight end play out of Gesicki. Good running back play. Obviously disappointed that Howard fumbled it. That was a bad pop. He got the ball out in the open and literally just punched through from behind on the ball. Perfect spot. So unfortunate for them, but the Seahawks are just the best team in football. Like, it is what it is. They will play up to any team they face, and apparently they will play down a little bit. Russell Wilson's just a fucking machine, though.
Another team that had a good week. Yeah, they only won by 7 points.
This is arguably the other game of the week. After the Browns, Boys nightmare. Like
Chargers, Bucks. Like, this was, I know Eckler got injured. We're going to talk about that in the fantasy side of things because that affects things. But Tom Brady, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like 5 touchdowns that game. Ronald Jones, no Fournette today. And he's like, I'll just pop off for 111. Just give me triple ones on the day for yardage. I don't need a touchdown, Tom. Those can all go to you. This was to me where it's like, if like moving forward, this is going to be the game we look at towards like, this is where the Bucs woke up and realized this is what we are.
They've been getting better week by week.
Yeah.
Tom Brady with practice means better Tom Brady. Like
because of no offseason.
That's, you got to just keep saying that out loud. New team, no offseason. He's getting in sync with his receivers. He's getting in sync with his offense.
That's right. And he gets the Bears on Thursday night this week.
Yeah, I'm not looking. So, yeah, Tom Brady looked amazing. Air Bear. Fucking matched him, though. And that's a thing.
Air Bear. I love it.
Yeah, I love that nickname when I heard, like, yep, that's it. You're just forever Air Bear in my mind. I'm sorry. Your name's gone. You are Air Bear. He was a baller, man. Like, no lack of confidence. He's making all the big throws. He's running the ball and knowing that he's going to take hits. Like, he's just a big guy who has confidence in his game. I love everything about it. The throws he's making are legit. Obviously, that Chargers offense changes without Austin Eckler out there. But they are still a very, very aggressive team on the offense. And defensively, not bad. They just got torched by the GOAT. Like, it happens. Scotty Miller making plays.
Yep, had a touchdown.
Mevin's couple TDs, no big. I mean, it's just Mike Evans doing.
I'll take as many points as he had in fantasy. I'll take it.
Did I hear OJ Howard hurt though?
I think so. I think he is.
I think he did CL.
I'm gonna look it up. I'll see if Shefty tweeted about it.
Yeah,
I know there was a tweak. I just didn't see anything about how long he's out for.
Yeah, double check that. But no, I mean this Bucs team put all together out there. It was their best week. You're right, by far. It was definitely a wonderful showing. It
was Bruce Arians believes OJ Howard has torn his Achilles and will be done for the season.
Oh, Achilles! That's a whole
torn Achilles.
ACL, MCL is different. Achilles is a nightmare injury, especially for someone of his size and speed. So, Gronk
may be the guy here. Let me see.
Who's the other guy who's also very good as their tight end?
Fucking Cameron Brate. Or Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
Brate. God,
they had three.
The guy that they signed to like a 4-year contract, and then, oh shit, we drafted OJ Howard.
Yeah, he was the guy. Then OJ Howard fell down. Like, well, shit, I guess we'll just take OJ Howard. We'll be a 2 tight end team. Oh shit, we'll just take Gronk. We're a 3 tight end team. Meanwhile, they have 2 of the best fucking receivers in football. They're an embarrassment of wealth on the offensive end. Buck shout out.
So Shefty, Shefty tweeted an article that said OJ may be done with an Achilles injury, but there's nothing for sure. It's just we think he's got the Achilles injury.
That's fair.
The next game, Dave, this is one where it's like some games happen. You don't have a lot to say about it. The Ravens are really good. Lamar Jackson's really good. Washington's not.
Yep.
Like, it's just that simple.
Yep.
Dave's like, next, please.
RG3 got playing time, like I said he would.
Yeah, you did. You called that right.
Interception real quick, though.
From one that you called right, though, to one I called right. Who did I say not to sleep on, Dave?
Yeah, you got me.
Don't sleep on Teddy Two Gloves and the Panthers getting the win over Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
The Cardinals said, I'm done. I'm off the train.
Kyler played good, too. He only had 133 yards, but he went 3 touchdowns, no INTs. How much more do you want from the kid?
It's not just him.
Yeah, I know.
It's a team effort out there, and they don't got a team all the time. So, yeah. I mean, look, credit to the fucking Panthers because they deserve a win. I mean, Mike Davis looks great out there, filling for CMC.
84 yards and a tutty.
Yep. I think, obviously, you said Teddy Two Gloves already, great performance. It's just the team finds a way, and defensively, they were able to hold up pretty well when it counted. So it's time for defense will get the job done. But yeah, I think the big thing is just the Cards, just inconsistencies out there. That's what's killing them.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row they've lost, and I don't know that I will pick them again anytime soon.
I mean, for the Panthers, though, their next 4, I will say, could be a 2-2 stretch because they've got the Atlanta Falcons coming up week 5. Winnable. The Bears at Carolina, where, yes, the Bears' defense is tough. We'll see how much more Foles gets comfortable with the offense.
I say Foles will be better.
Like that's the one where it's like if there's a loss, that's it. Because then they go to New Orleans. Teddy's going to play up for that one, the revenge game.
Sure.
And then Atlanta again. So it's like, what, at least 2 wins over Atlanta, right? Like, 2 wins over Atlanta. Maybe they beat the Saints. The Bears, they probably lose against.
I think they might split with Atlanta, but okay.
Okay. The next one, Dave, this one had a brawl at the end. We're not talking football, Dave. We're talking bare-knuckle brawls as fucking the...
agitated, that's all.
Ramsey and Tate. And Joe Judge today saying that he believes Jalen Ramsey threw the first punch. Giants only lose 17-9 against the Rams. Dave, what was your thought on this one with your boy Danny Dimes?
I mean, Danny Dimes is, again, he's not a bad quarterback. He's just going to eat sacks. He's going to make mistakes. But he's got a hell of an arm. So he's not a bad quarterback. He's just on a bad team. He just plays bad. That's all. He's got that Sam Darnold syndrome to him. He's got that, he doesn't have that Deshaun Watson level of talent to overcome the just pure idiots in front of you and above you. So he and Sam Darnold are both stuck in New York hell. It's unfortunate, but they are not as bad as I thought they were as a team. But yeah, the whole Jalen Ramsey and Golden Tate's sisters, baby mama situation like that, all not good. Yeah, so you know that, right? It's Golden Tate's sister. I heard a little bit about it, but clarify for me, who I'm like on the cusp of maybe knowing what you're talking about. Jalen Ramsey is Golden Tate's brother-in-law, technically. Ex. Okay. Oh, ex. Okay. And they have a kid. And apparently some words were said about like, you're going to have to deal with me at some point kind of shit. Like, we're going to see each other kind of shit. Yeah. And, so Jalen Ramsey, Golden Tate, obviously not getting along too well. So family drama there. Yeah. And that definitely adds to this. Yeah. And like Joe Judge I saw something where he mentioned where he thought Ramsey, obviously it's like, even if he didn't, obviously Joe Judge, head coach of the Giants, is going to say the other guy threw the first punch. Yep. But that one was like, Rams got the win. Let's talk about this brawl at the end of the game. The next game, Dave, we got 2 more left. This game, I thought this game was like, you mentioned the Buccaneers-Chargers is like your second favorite besides Browns-Cowboys. Absolutely was. This one was it for me. Bills with only a 7-point win over the Raiders. I thought the Raiders were going to get it done at some point. They were another one that had that. We had a lot of plays this week of like, well, the analytics say when you're down by 5 or when you're down by 8, you go for 2 rather than when you're down by 14. By 14. You score for the first time. You go for 2. I'm mixing it with Among Us where, the analytics say when there's 7 of you, you skip the vote. You skip the vote. Skip the vote on 7. We all know the rule, guys. Doesn't matter what you saw, what you heard. Oh, man. We got to get Mel Kiper talking about Among Us people. Well, you know what? I really like him, Dave. He skips on 7. Everyone knows the rule. You got to skip on 7. That's just the logic of what you do, how you do it. That's the Among Us thing. You skip on 7. But yeah, I thought they were going to come back. They pulled it within 7. Them being the Raiders pulled it within 7. But yeah, the Bills get it done and they're 4-0. Dude, Josh Allen 4-0. Josh fucking Allen, put some respect on the name of a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Fucking love Josh Allen coming out of Wyoming. Diggs comes up huge for him. Like, you got to admit, that has been the addition of the offseason. Like, adding Tom Brady to your team, sure. But that was free agency. That was free agency. The best trade of the offseason, Stephon Diggs. That was a game changer for this Bills offense. They're 4-0. We're 1-3. So I think Josh Allen went from like a 59% completion percentage to like a 70%. From last year to this year, and I know the year's early. We're only 4 games. We're a quarter of the way through the season. Let's see, 16 games. Yeah. 4, 8, 12, 16. That's some simple math. We're already a quarter through. I'm pretty confident in that one. Dave, question mark? But yeah, he's completing 70.9% of his passes, up from 58% last year. That's a pretty big jump. That's pretty good for Josh Allen. Dave, his QBR from his rookie year to this year, so this is his 3rd year in the NFL. Rookie year, 67.9 rating, right? He's up to 122 through 4 games this year. I know not QBR, but ESPN's not giving me the QBR. Right. So we have to go off quarterback rating. That's fair. No, I mean, he is doing amazing things, and it just feels like he can't lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like when the ball's in his hands, he can't lose the game. There's something special about the kid. I wish I had seen it coming out of college. Like he was always that like I got a big fucking arm and I got a mobile body. I can run. I'm big. I'm strong. I'm tough. And like there's a lot to like about him, but the accuracy issues out of college continue through those first couple of years. But it seems like it's all coming together now when you just add one of the most talented deep threats in the game and Stephon Diggs to that roster.
And then Dave, the last game, I will be honest, this was one I missed most of the game because I was watching WWE NXT TakeOver.
Oh, okay.
And afterwards, I turned it on. I was like, holy shit, the Eagles are winning. Then I watched the end of it, and I was like, holy shit, the Eagles won that game.
Yep.
Like, are Eagles good now?
No.
Eagles good now? They played injured 49ers. Like,
they played injured 49ers.
Like, the meme I see going around Twitter is the SpongeBob one with the ice cream that says, you can have it. And it's like, Nick Mullins to the Eagles. You can have it. You can have this dub.
Nick Mullins lost that game more than the Eagles won it. I will admit Nick Foles didn't look horrible. Yeah. I don't think he gets run out of town this week, And the last couple of weeks have been crying for Nick Foles, and they're like, give us Nick Foles. Wait, who did I? I'm getting all my Knicks confused.
You're talking about Jalen Hurts.
Nope.
With the Eagles?
Nope. They wish they still had.
Oh, they wish they still had Big Dick Nick. You're right. Nick Foles. Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, the guy.
I was like dancing around. I was like, but Jalen Hurts is a backup. And that's like, oh, Dave wants the starter, Carson Wentz.
Yep.
As Sean said when he got drafted, clipboard manager, Carson Wentz.
Correct. Carson Wentz played well enough that he's quieted down the rumors and the angst of Philly. But this is still a team that needs a hell of a lot of help. Like they are in not so hot shape. But hey, they pulled out a win against a very hurt team that underperformed and choked. They literally just choked on it. So credit to the Eagles for capitalizing and winning the game. All love to them. And we'll see what happens next week.
Well, Dave, we're going to move on. We're going to go to a topic we love to go to on MVP Sports Live. These are the dampest of dudes, soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys. How we do it is these are our players of the day from the day prior. Dave usually gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids. They also get to vote on a wet boy, where actually Soapy got to break a tie this week for the patron wet boys. So remember, silver above if you want to get in on that action to kind of have your voice heard for the wet boy each and every time we do it. But Dave, as is per usual, you usually give the first one. Who's your wet boy after this weekend?
As is per usual, I'm going to the NBA because, bitches, it's NBA playoffs. Like, and let's be honest. Yeah, I'm talking about that boy, Jimmy Butler. I mean, it's just, what couldn't he do out there last night? I know. They had their issues in the game on Friday, but honestly,
I'm talking about that man, Jimmy Butler. LeBron, you's a baller.
Yeah, and again, they got into a little bit of verbiage going back and forth in that game, which was great.
I loved it, Dave.
It's impossible to hate Jimmy Butler from going from like, this man's a locker room answer in Chicago. He's bad for the Timberwolves. Look, the 76ers didn't even want to keep him after he carried their ass to the fucking Eastern Conference final. Like, everything he's done in his career is do nothing but work harder, be better than everyone around him, and all he's gotten for it is shit. And now he's on a team that respects him for it, and looks up to him. And guess what? He outshined LeBron in the fucking NBA Finals.
I forgot to mention this, Dave. We actually had a Sean Anderson sighting in our group text.
We did, actually,
because so those of you who used to listen to the Fast Break, longtime fans will remember that Sean and I had a discussion, and Dave kind of sat there watching Sean. You had your quips, but it was one of those segments where Sean and I were going really back and forth. You know what I'm saying, Dave?
For which one?
Jimmy Butler.
I thought it was the Paul George.
No.
So I had that one with him.
No. The one where Jimmy Butler, he was saying that he's just a B player, and I think that he's a player that you can build a team around. That argument. And Sean texted, he said, I think even though I fought for him to not be a top 10 player, Jimmy Butler might have become my favorite player last night. And I just responded with one gift, Dave. Just good old Bruce Willis from Die Hard. Welcome to the party, pal. Welcome to the party, because we're already here.
Yeah, I was thinking back to the days when it was Paul George versus Jimmy Butler. Who would you rather build a team around?
Yes.
Which one's the better player? Which one's the all-around better? And like he was always in the Paul George train. He was always Paul George is the wing of the future. He's a prototypical size.
Pandemic.
He's got that wingspan. He's got that outside shot. And I'm like, Jimmy Butler is a winner.
Jimmy Butler is your father.
He will put more effort into that fucking game than anyone else will. He is all in, and there's no questions about how hard he wants to win. He's a JUCO kid. He is just he's earned his way up from nothing to bench guard to guy who's just going to play defense and not take a shot and play 48 straight fucking minutes in the game to where he's at now as the best player on an NBA Finals team. Why my camera get all blurry? That bugged me. And yeah, he's an incredible man. And as a Chicago fan, I can't be happier for the Miami Heat. And I can't help but root for them, even though they're hilariously underdogs in this series.
I got a quick question for you.
Yeah.
And I saw this tweet. This is from MVP fan Mark Armour on Twitter.
Shout out.
And I saw a tweet he put out today. And I think I got some disagreements with it, Dave.
Uh-oh.
So he says, Jimmy Butler is a top 5 Heat player of all time for sure. And this was his top 5. Number 1, D. Wade. Number 2, LeBron. Number 3, Shaq. Number 4, Chris Bosh. Number 5, Jimmy Butler. Here's my debate. The funny answer is no, Jimmy Butler is 2 because LeBron, Jimmy Butler is your father. That's the funny answer. But like, there's a part of me that goes, Jimmy should be above Shaq and Bosh on that list, right? Or am I crazy for thinking that?
Rings, Ernie. Rings.
Okay, but like the thing I was thinking is Shaq wasn't the main reason they won that ring. D. Wade was. Bosh wasn't the main reason.
They wouldn't have made that run without Shaq.
Good point. But like with Bosh, it's like
Shaq,
Bosh was like, I mean, Jimmy Butler wheeled this young team to the finals. Bosh was the number 3 behind LeBron and D. Wade,
who happened to be the complete ideal, 5-out player who transformed the NBA.
I don't know. Maybe I looked at it and I was like, man, is that a little slight at Jimmy because of what he's been able to do this year?
D. Wade rings, LeBron James rings, Shaq ring, Jimmy Butler no ring.
D. Wade and LeBron are fine. Like I have no problems 1-2 there.
What about the fucking glove? What about Lonzo Mourning? Are we not giving any love to some guys from the past?
Gary Payton, Tim Hardaway Jr., Alonzo Mourning.
Jr.? Not Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Sr.
Tim Hardaway Sr. That's right. Not junior, senior. I'm trying to think. There were more. Well, you got it. Mario Chalmers has to be on that list, right, Dave?
Mario Chalmers didn't move the hands in the fourth quarter.
Thank you. For my wet boy Dave, nay. For my Misty Miss Dave.
You are the proponent of the Misty Miss.
Well, I have to.
I don't watch. I'll be honest.
So remember on a young April Fool's afternoon when you, Sean, and I talked about the WNBA draft, Dave?
I remember.
Do you remember who was supposed to be the number 1 pick for that year?
Oh.
My Misty Miss, Dave, Breanna Stewart, had herself a fucking weekend. So I just put up the game 1 stats because those are the most... so they're in the WNBA finals right now. The Storm right now have taken a 2-0 commanding series lead, can end the finals on Tuesday, Dave, to sweep it 3-0. This was her game 1. She shot 60% from the field, 60% from 3, and she's a forward center type of player. 37 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks. And then in game 2 was like, nah, I'm going to lead the team again with 22 points. And I'm pulling up her complete line. It wasn't as impressive as the first one. But in game 2, 22 points, 4 boards, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and still went 5 of 8 from 3. So, like,
love it.
Breanna Stewart, I'm like, I got to give some love here because the Storm, obviously, the second-seeded team, the Ace, the number 1, and now if the Ace want to win the NBA Finals, they're going to have to Shit, it wouldn't be a gentleman sweep. What would be the female equivalent of a gentleman sweep? What's the other term? Like, not a gentleman, but a ladies sweep? Because it's usually ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Someone help me out there. But basically, Brianna Stewart is my wet boy. And then, Dave, the patrons, they had 2 football players. I'm going to ask you who you would have picked, and then I'll go to who Soapy picked for the tie.
Tom Brady.
Nope.
Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns. How is Tom Brady not the fucking...
Odell Beckham.
Credit due.
Or Joe Mixon.
Are all of our patrons from Ohio? Where, like, what's this conspiracy going on right now?
Who would you have picked between those 2?
I mean,
we also had a Jimmy Butler vote, but those got discarded.
Well, yeah, those went to me.
Those went to you.
Okay. I think it's allowed, by the way, for future polls. Like, if I shoot my wet boy early like that, like, just go ahead and put it in there. Be like, Jimmy Butler is getting a wet boy from Dave today.
Yeah, I did. I said, no, Dave got Jimmy Butler.
Oh, well then.
Whenever you call your shot, and I know it would be something that the patrons would vote on, I put it in there. Just so I don't have to retroact and go, no, guys, don't vote for that because Dave's gone.
I appreciate that. But yeah, with those 2, both are on fantasy teams of mine. So hard to choose. I'm going to go OBJ.
You would be right. OBJ is the patron wet boy. 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground.
He was great, but Tom Brady throwing 5 touchdowns.
Dave's like, how is Tom Brady not a wet boy?
Tom needs to be a wet boy.
How is he not a wet boy? But yeah, OBJ, wet boy for today. So we got Jimmy G, Brianna Stewart, and then OBJ, the wet boys for today. But Dave, before we go into fantasy football, we got some NBA Finals. There it is, NBA Finals to talk about. Jimmy G keeping everything alive, by the way. You mentioned it during your wet boy. And the question I want to ask is, because this is the question that I keep asking myself, is today, by the way, Jay Williams, some things I like about him. Today he had a terrible analogy. And it was the nerd in me going, Jay, like, I don't want to go LeVar Ball, but I'm going to go LeVar Ball here. I almost want to be like, Jay, stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane. Because the analogy he made the analogy of, he goes, it's hard to look at the Lakers because, they've got Superman and Thor. And I'm thinking, those 2 don't go together at all. And he goes, but Jimmy Butler is Batman. He was born in the darkness. And I was like, all right, I like the Jimmy Butler part.
That's what you're doing there.
I like that part. It's the other part of Superman and Thor. Like, they don't go. Like, I get they're strong superheroes, and that's what he's going for.
Why not go like Cap and
Iron Man, Hulk and Thor. Hulk and Thor. They're both fucking LeBron hulks out in the finals all the time.
Although Anthony Davis more resembles Hulk.
Yeah, then LeBron can be Thor, interchange.
Although the shaved head needs to happen.
Yeah.
This situation, not good for you, LeBron.
My question I keep asking myself, Dave, is, yes, it was nice that the Heat won. I am cheering for the Heat in these finals. Can Jimmy do this 3 more times, though? No. Because I'm going to tell you something. I
love Jimmy Butler, but no. As a grown-ass man who loves the basketball player this much, no.
Because I'll tell you this.
It's not on him, though. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. He needed Tyler Hero to pick up. He needed Kelly O.
Defensively, they played better. A lot better defensively.
They were able to get a lot of guys going. The big thing for them was the fact of how they guarded Anthony Davis.
Yes.
And changing how they doubled him in space was a big decision maker. Mm-hmm. And it forced AD to pass out of those positions. He wasn't able to take advantages easily. So it worked for one game. Are we going to see them make adjustments?
Bam Adebayo questionable now for Game 4. He moved up from doubtful to questionable. A win can do that, Dave. A win can change your status.
I think if we hit elimination game, then we see Bam.
Yeah. But not like a 3-1 elimination game, like a 3-2 elimination game, I think.
Yeah. If they lose their next game, that's fine. Yeah. Let it go. Go play your game 5 and see what happens. But if they win somehow, then maybe Bam, maybe inches back. Dragometter's done though. Like, I don't know why people are still like, oh well, when he comes back, like he's not coming back. Yeah, you guys know what an injury is?
Yeah, he ain't coming back. Like the plantar injury, I know that people are saying like, oh, you can come back for maybe game 6, game 7. No, he ain't coming back.
He can't run. Mm-hmm. How's he going to play basketball?
Well, it's kind of like when we all thought Klay Thompson was going to come back this season, right, Dave?
I didn't.
I'm basically making fun of myself because I said that.
Told you what was going to happen.
But the thing I was going to say is, so I love the thing where Jimmy Butler was like, yeah, LeBron in the first quarter.
He was a baller.
Mentioned something. And basically Jimmy went into not LeBron mode. He went into MJ mode. And that point I took it personal. Or that was personal for me. That's what Jimmy did. And he went into that gear. Here's my problem,
I was just returning the favor, though. I was just returning the favor.
So here's my problem, and what I'm scared about. LeBron also has that in him, just not mid-game. Well, sometimes mid-game, but didn't have it mid-game that time. LeBron's going to have a career game in Game 4. That's what I'm preparing for. LeBron's going to come out pissed off and just have a career NBA Finals game. Prepare for it.
Someone who we haven't talked about yet for this game is Rajon Rondo.
Yes.
Rajon Rondo's been excellent. Playoff Rondo exists. All you haters out there can go S&D.
He shut down the fucking Portland Trailblazers twice.
He is such an amazing point guard, and he helps this Lakers team perform at a top level. But he, most importantly, has been keeping LeBron's emotions in check. If you've seen a lot of the comments coming out from the locker room from these reporters are how LeBron is quick to react. And, Rondo kind of is trying to check him and be like, hey, man, like, let's be honest. Like, even if you did fuck up, you got to admit it. Like, you got to keep everybody on the same page because your words mean so much to these kids that, like, you being negative around them.
Oh, you mean what he tried to do with Jimmy in Chicago, but Jimmy and D Wade, or mainly D Wade, was like, no, fuck that, bro. You're Jimmy Butler. You mean what he tried to do in Chicago? Is that what you're telling me, Dave? Is that what you're telling me? Rajon Rondo. We would have swept the Celtics.
We would have swept the Celtics.
Just gotta mention it.
That's for you, Tim. I don't know if you're here or not, but
it's also for Pat. Pat fucking hates it.
Also, Pat. Lots of people hate when we tell that story.
Mm-hmm. But it's true. Get with the facts. Get with the times, kids. Get with the times. I think Pat's a year younger than us, which makes that funnier. But go ahead, Dave.
But Rondo getting in between Jimmy and LeBron and being like, hey, if you want to go spout off, you go the fuck over there. I'm the shit talker on this team. Like, we need you. I can talk shit and get fucking teed up. That's fine. Like, that's Rondo's at that point in his career where he knows where his value is. He knows he needs to keep LeBron safe. And I think that's the thing is, God.
You know what it almost reminds me of, but on a different spectrum, where it's keeping LeBron safe, where it almost reminds me, he's the Mark Jackson of the Indiana Pacers, where Mark Jackson's job was, I got to get Reggie going. I got to get Reggie up for the game. So he would just feed him like, oh man, you don't want to see what they're talking about in these New York newspaper about you, Reggie. Ooh, I wouldn't have said that way. Like, it's a different side of like, I gotta keep you safe, but it reminded me of like that type of player where it's like, you know what? I gotta aid my top player in some way.
It's like the opposite though.
Yeah, I said the opposite. I gotta
make sure my top player doesn't sacrifice himself.
I'm like, it's on the polar opposites, but that's what it reminded me of.
But yeah, no, Rondo's been great. The series is great. Obviously people stopped watching after game 1 because, well, let's be honest. Yeah. When you lose 2 out of your top 5 players, not much of a series, let's be honest. Yeah. But hey, shout out to Jimmy Buckets, man. He's living the dream. He's on a team that overperformed, and maybe because of this injury, Goran Dragic comes back on a discount.
Maybe comes back to Miami. Maybe they get they trade for a certain Giannis Antetokounmpo, who might not be happy.
Why trade for him if you get him for free?
I mean, yeah, but I'm saying like if you're able to get him for next year's playoffs, like fucking give up a draft pick or 2.
That's the problem. I don't know if they need to. The problem is the Bucks are going to win like 60 games again.
I mean, it ain't like Kemba Walker's going to help the Celtics anytime soon.
We all know Kemba Walker's a scumbag who's not going to help the Celtics.
Sorry, JD, I had to put a stab in there.
Yes.
No, I mean I just mean at the Celtics in general.
That's totally okay. Totally okay.
But Dave, let's finish off the show. We actually have sliding this in there. So we're talking fantasy football. We had 3 topics. We have a fan question from the comment section.
I love it.
So we're going to have that before we talk about Eckler and Chubb and some running backs. Here's the question, Dave, and it is from Nitin Valasetti. Says, hey, should I trade Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs for, he said for Hill. I'm assuming he means Tyreek Hill.
That's the Hill I know.
So should he trade Thielen and Diggs for Tyreek Hill? His other wide receivers are DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin. It is a PPR 10-team league. Thielen and Diggs for Tyreek Hill. He's got DK and Godwin. Godwin has the injury. Like, that's the immediate thing I think of is Godwin's got the injury so far. DK, although he had, and I only speak of this from experience because I have him in our ESPN league. How many points did he get me this week? I think he had a pedestrian day. That's why I say that. He only got me 10 points. So, like, not bad, but like out of DK, you expect a little bit more from that.
But we're not PPR in that league.
Good point. So it would have been a little bit more.
He's at 15, 15, and 10 in our non-PPR league.
Good point.
Which means he would have about 20, 20, 20.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The MVP league is a PPR league, if that's what you're looking at.
No, I'm looking at ESPN.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, good
MVP
point.
Is only 0.5, isn't it?
What? Depends. Some people do 1 point, some people do half a point.
Okay.
So the how it used to be, it was a standard 1 point per reception, but then people changed to 0.5 because of people like me who bitched about the people where it's like, I had 5 catches for 15, or I had 5 catches for 10 yards. Or 9, or like fucking like 30 yards, and I got
like big numbers. What's it fucking matter at the end of the day?
If your player's just gonna rack up catches and not yards, then maybe you shouldn't draft them.
Draft the strategy of PPR. That's what PPR is normal.
I know. I don't like it. But Dave,
DK Metcalf is a wide receiver number 1. He's a can't miss wide receiver 1. He's gotten a touchdown.
I agree.
His first 3 weeks. Week 4, he didn't get a touchdown, but he did good over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I had no problem keeping DK as my number 1. Tyreek Hill is explosive. He has that upside. Godwin's injury, I don't know how many weeks he's out for. Do you know what his status is?
I thought that this week it was just like a day-to-day, like he was out. Let's see. Twitter's usually got the answers. Andy, Shefty's usually got them.
Shefty.
Yeah, it was just a game-time decision. Rappaport says this was from 5 days ago. Bucks productive wide receiver Chris Godwin had his MRI yesterday, and the test confirmed a mild hamstring pull. Sources said he'll be out this week, and based on the schedule, potentially next Thursday against the Bears, but shouldn't be more after that. So he'll probably miss this week just because of the shortened week.
Okay.
Like, it's not a serious injury to where it's like, that's the thing. DK's a number 1. Godwin, even with Mevins, is wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 value.
He'll get you the catches. With PPR, like he's a fucking stud.
Yeah.
And that offense, now that Tom Brady's ticking, watch out.
Yeah.
So the question is like, I guess what's the value? It'd be like Tyreek Hill adds you that explosive factor of like maybe he could pop off for like 25 points, no problem.
Yeah, well, Tyreek Hill in our MVP league, the NFL.com league, has had 15.6, 23.8, 21.2, and already through, I think they're almost to halftime in the Monday night game, he's at 5.9. He's already got, 2 catches for 39 yards.
That early on,
Yes, he's gotten touchdowns in every single game. That's what led to his big points, to where it's like, I almost say if they would pull the deal, I would almost do that. Almost. And the only reason why is Adam Thielen.
You don't need Thielen and Diggs. Like you're not starting Thielen or Diggs over DK or Godwin, but you might start Hill over one of them matchup week. That's the thing. Like, you're trading stable points in Diggs and potentially stable points in Thielen. He's very much non-trustworthy in my book.
He had a great week against the Packers. He had a good week against the Texans. Yeah, coming up, he's got the Seahawks and the Falcons, which he could have good points against, but like he had 6 and 12 points against Indy and Tennessee.
Right.
So like for me, it's like
I go for the swing. I'd swing for it.
I would do it. I would totally. Here, let me see Diggs really quick because like I did a move like that. And by the way, I completely finessed Mark, by the way. If you would have told me 2 weeks after I made that deal with Mark that Kittle would be healthy, getting me 18 points, and Austin Eckler would be injured out for 3 to 4 weeks, like I would have told you were crazy. But that's what happened. Yeah, I would do that deal. So both Dave and I on the same page today a lot. But yeah, I would do that deal. Go ahead and trade for Tyreek Hill. But Dave, let's talk about what we were going to talk about first before I slid that in there. Eckler out 3 to 4 weeks. Chubb on the IR, probably out 3 weeks with the new IR rules. What should owners of Eckler and Chubb be looking for? What should they be doing if they're hitting the panic button right now?
You should be apologizing for taking those players. I don't fucking know. Like Nick Chubb's got a great backup. Unfortunately, in Kareem Hunt, he's available in like no leagues.
Yeah.
So you're already fucked. And same with Austin Eckler and Josh Kelly. Like both these guys are owned in a majority of leagues. Something interesting, obviously, you have to consider is Rex Burkhead, who is available in about 60% of leagues out there. Might be interesting guy to pick up going forward. I know this week he is facing KC with a depleted offense, but with no Sony Michel. But then he's got Denver but then San Francisco, Buffalo, Jets. Like he's got a decent string there. He's someone who I would consider, but honestly, I'm just going to keep going to the school, Adrian Peterson. If you need steady points, if you're not looking for a home run hitter, Adrian Peterson.
Hey, man, 66% of leagues. That's what he's owned in on NFL.
Get you some every single fucking week. Who's the other guy? The running back for the 49ers that we praised again.
Oh, Jerick McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
Same thing.
He was one. He got a touchdown, and I was...
He's touchdown every week. He's a guarantee.
Yeah.
He's a fucking good luck charm.
Yeah, he had 22. So he's had 13, 13, 16, and then 22. He's got Miami this week. That'd be a fucking good one to play him against. He's available,
I 100% say you swap to him. I think high value. Cook was only out for a couple plays, right? He wasn't actually like hurt.
Yeah, no, Cook is fine. There's no.
Okay, because I saw that Madison got a score.
No, that was just late in the game. They were up. They just gave he is the touchdown vulture sometimes, which I fucking hate.
All I'm reading was the ESPN said Dalvin Cook momentarily exited the game with an apparent injury.
Yeah, it was I was worried too, but end of the game, he was on the bench smiling. Announcers didn't make a big deal about the injury. Okay. I think they just kept him out because it's hey, we don't want to risk
something and don't risk it.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from it. The one that the thought that I'm getting to is, and of course it depends on how your roster is kind of made up, is because McKinnon's owned in 90% of leagues. So it's at this point, most of the running backs we've been talking about to this point have been gobbled up to where it's you're going to have to do either some real big stretches. For example, if you think Devonta Freeman got most of the carries this past week, had 10.8 points in NFL, he plays Dallas this upcoming week, where we all know Dallas's defense loves to give up points. But yet again, it's what do you see from him moving forward? I'm almost at the shot of if you've got wide receivers and you're hey, I can trade a wide receiver or two.
You got to
get somebody. Yeah, to get someone I'm thinking maybe not Joe Mixon, because Joe Mixon coming off of week 4.
Yeah, you're going to overpay for him now.
Yeah, you're going to overpay for him. Maybe I'm thinking a Todd Gurley, that guys might be for me, he started off as my RB2, but now he's kind of moved into my flex. He's a good option. A guy like James Conner, these are running backs that people might be shopping. Even a James Robinson, who from Jacksonville, depending on who has him, someone might be hey, you know what? I can give him up because I've got X, Y, and Z at the running back position. Really, that's all you're at, though, because all the other guys that I'm looking at, Dave, you're just kind of swinging in the dark.
Latavius Murray, the other vulture.
Yeah,
the best running back in the league is Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
And right behind him, unfortunately, is Latavius Murray on that team, who's stolen 2 scores from him this past week.
Yeah.
A little pissed about that because Alvin Kamara could pop out for about 100 points.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that is there smoke or is there fire where there's some smoke there? Or you think that this is just, they were just going with the flow of the game, and Detroit, he worked out well against?
Yeah. Whenever you mention vultures to me, I usually don't like going for vultures. Like even like a Madison from Minnesota, because
so maybe it's the wrong term, because he, in the last 4 weeks, start here, 15 carries, 3 carries.
Yeah.
12 carries, 14 carries. Like he's getting an average of like 10 carries per game. He seems like somebody who has upside, who's going to get a look near goal line. He might not get it every week though, so that's the thing. You're playing a little dicey here.
Yeah.
But with 2 scores in a game, and the fact, his last 3 games he's averaging over 4.5 yards per carry, close to 5 actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Detroit one was just I don't want to use the word fluke, but it was more of like a situational type of game where it was like he happened to get the scores. Because like you look at the other games, 4, 5, and 7 points. And like the next team they go up against is the Chargers, which is usually not good for running backs. And then a bye week. So like for me, I don't know, I would stay away from Latavius Murray. Okay. I was going to mention someone, but then my brain kind of went and kind of kapooted on itself. I can't even remember anymore. I was looking, and then you mentioned Murray, and to think about it, I'm like, I got to bring up Murray stuff. Oh, I got it. You know who's one guy I would trade for or look to see what the offer would be? Raheem Mostert. And here's how I play this, depending on how you are. If you're 0-3, then maybe you don't do this, but I would almost try to pull what I pulled on Mark of if you've got 2 guys, 2 wide receivers, I would say, or like a tight end and a wide receiver, something that the other team needs. I would almost like say, hey, I'll give you these 2 guys who can produce for you right now. I'll take that injured guy off your hands. Because I think Mostert at most is going to miss 1 more week before he's healthy. So like, even if he doesn't play this week, all right, I miss 1 week. Where it's like, I'll probably lose because my running backs are kind of decimated. But then once Mostert comes back, he's not only the number 1 running back on that team, he is the highest fantasy upside on that team because of what he can do running the ball and catching the ball. Yes, there's McKinnon will still get some touches, but Mostert jumps all the way up to the top to where I feel like he's a guy that's going to pop off for points each and every week. As long as he's healthy and playing. So, like, that's a sneaky one. But you got to be... That's not for the faint of heart. It's not for, like, the rookie moves out there. That's like you've got a big brain fantasy owner. You're trying to finesse somebody. You got to make sure you do not lose that trade at all costs. Dave, the next thing I want to ask is 2 guys. One guy on Thursday night, you were like, who the fuck is this guy? And then on Monday... or on Nick Foles, what did you say?
Big true.
Yeah. Tim Patrick for Denver. He had against the Jets 23 points. So he's coming off a 14-point against the Bucs, 23 against the Jets. He's got the Patriots and Miami in his next 2. Then the one thing I was noticing while watching the Bears is Darnell Mooney was getting some shots. If a person needs a wide receiver, Dave, or they're looking for help at the wide receiver, are Tim Patrick or Darnell Mooney worth it to take a flyer on, even if it's hey, I'm going to draft them, stash them, and then just leave them on the bench for this next week?
Tim Patrick, absolutely. Darnell Mooney, no.
You don't think there's nothing there? The 9.9 is not anything that's going to be built on with Foles.
Can't bet on the Bears without a quarterback. Can't do it, won't do it. I bought on the hype train last week for Big Dick Nick. Can't do it, won't do it. Okay. There's a guy you want to go after who's going to get catches. Scotty fucking Miller.
Okay.
Man, eats targets.
It's like I've only been preaching his name 4 weeks. It's okay.
Scotty Miller. Just going to say it again. There's a that's the thing. Wide receiver is so deep this year. Mooney will get a couple catches a game, but will they be consequential.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And
I mean, I think you got to ask. I like Tim Patrick, but
mm-hmm.
you see what Jerry Jeudy did. Are you more intrigued by that? Less intrigued? Do you think that?
Yes. I mean, Tim Patrick, I think is going to be there. Like Scotty Miller's a good one because he's only owned in 11% of leagues, so like he's going to be there. And
Jeudy got a square head in his photo.
He's got a what?
I mean, a square head. It is like a big old rectangle. It's just like
yeah. Whereas Jerry Jeudy is 63%. So like there's a chance.
Rostered in 0.06% of ESPN league.
Yeah. So like
2 weeks, great performances. He's getting targets every week. 5, 5, 4, and 7. I mean, the guy seems to have come out of nowhere.
You said 0.7 in ESPN, 0.3 in NFL leagues.
Yep.
So Tim Patrick, not like I'm the same. Where it's like Mooney. Watching that game, I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see how many he ends with. And it was only like 60 yards. So I was like, okay, the 9 points from the 3 catches. That's one where it's like I'd wait and see. No one's going to pick him up. But like Tim Patrick, if you need someone, Scotty Miller, who Dave mentioned, especially if Godwin's not able to go this Thursday night against the Bears, could be someone to pick up if you're dealing with an injury. Or let's say like you had Eckler, but you're like, I don't need a running back. I need a wide receiver because he was a flex option. Those could be good ones there. And Dave, the last thing we're going to talk about, we mentioned the Bengals earlier. I will ask you, Joe Mixon. He finally had a good week fantasy-wise, made his fantasy owners happy. You have him in a league. I have him in a league. I traded him in our league to JD, the resident Bengal fan. What are your thoughts on Joe Mixon repeating this performance in the future, or is this just a flash in the pan week?
I mean, it's unlikely he gets that many touches again. I like him as running back.
25 touches, yeah.
I think he's talented, but I think that seems high for me to expect that out of him. But, he's 15 to 18 range conservatively. That seems to be okay for what he is. And I don't think he's RB1 in the NFL, but, he's a very quality guy and finally had a breakout week. If I could sell high on him for somebody, I would. 100% would sell this as a breakout week and tell people, oh, this is who he is. He's 100% the guy. And, hammer that home and try to get high value for him. But likely he's just going to be kind of consistently less than this.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the side that you're on, but I'm going to go full into it. No, don't buy in on the hype. Don't buy in on the people saying this is the real Joe Mixon. If someone offers you Joe Mixon, don't get pulled by the hype train. Don't basically say, well, he had a great week, I'm going to start him. His next 3 games, Dave, are against Baltimore, Indy, and Cleveland. Those are the 8th, the 4th, and the 10th toughest defenses against the run. I don't like his next 3. Yes, he gets Tennessee before the bye, which could be a good game. But then after that, Pittsburgh's good against the run, fantasy-wise. Washington's good against running backs. Like, the amount of matchups, Jacksonville was a good matchup for him. I mentioned it going into this week. Jacksonville was 27th against running backs, and they proved why. 42 points to Joe Mixon, mostly, like more than any fantasy points that he's had this year.
Yep.
Don't buy in on the hype. He's not going to have a next good 3 weeks. The Bengals won't either. The Bengals might win 1 if they beat Cleveland, but it's not going to be a good time. Do not buy in on the hype on Joe Mixon. Do not do it. Any final thoughts, Dave, on anything in sports before we wrap things up?
Nope, that's about it.
And that's going to do it. MVP Sports Live. Remember, join the Discord, link down below in the description or in Twitch chat, just !Discord to get that link. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can throw us a sub on Twitch, where we are live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids, and we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Thank you guys for checking us out today. Dave and I will be back tomorrow with more sports news. But as always, have a good day, everybody.